PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Who that family? Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who That Too. For all things Pelicans, now tuned into the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network. What's going on, Pelican family? We in the building. Big up to the family members joining us in this episode of the Pelicans post-game report. And like I always say, for every Pelican post-game report, it must be Friday night again. For another episode of Pelican Post Game Report, it's another Friday. Another week has gone past us, and it's time for another episode of the Pelican Post Game Report. How about that? I'm Big Q chiming with you on this one. We're going to bring in my co-host, DC. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing, man. I'm feeling lucky, bro. I'm feeling real fortunate.
Yeah, as you can tell, man, that's a pretty sharp thumbnail you put together there, DC.
Oh, man, I can't take all the credit. You know the PRO Media Network be on their thing, bro.
Well, that's appreciated, bro. But big ups to the family members joining us in the Pelican Post Game Report. GM Keb, DJ, what's up, DJ? And the rest of the family.
DJ.
Brian Pearson, big ups to the rest of the family members joining us in this installment of the Pelican Post Game Report. And we got a pretty good show coming at your family as well. We're going to talk about the what we got, DC? We got Drew's Holidays Destination. And, of course, we've been talking about that a lot lately. But in this show, we're going to cover some real interesting news. We're going to get into as much as we possibly can. We got some articles that we're going to share with the family members as we're going to try to kind of peer into this thing and get the guys information. So just in case some of the family members are confused about it, I'm going to give you the dates for the start of the season. Of course, the NBA season starts December the 22nd, a few days before Christmas. And, of course, the draft happens on the 18th of this month. And then 2 days later, free agency starts. So a very compressed timeline to get going. I mean, seriously, this is going to be absolutely fantastic and absolutely insane. This is going to be a 72-game season starting in December, DC. Are you ready for another 70-something game season of the Pelican Post Game Report?
Hey, it's here, man, so you ain't got no choice but to be ready. I don't think them players ready to start the season, but what they going to do? They going to get out there and ball, ain't they?
Yeah, they ain't got no choice. They're getting paid. They agreed to it. They're getting a larger cut of the pie. So, man, listen, they ready to roll. We ready to roll. Pelican Post Game Report is in the building. So please hit the like button, family. Thank y'all for joining us on this edition. All right, we're going to start it off. We have several articles we're going to go over. We're going to start it off with the NOLA.com article, 3 questions the Pelicans must answer when the NBA reopens for business next week. We'll then proceed that one with Pelicans off-season preview from CBS. We'll go over that article. And, of course, we'll cover a draft guide and give you our thoughts on players to look out for who the Pelicans could be, according to the experts, are saying, who we think would be a good fit for the team, and also news about more assistant coaches. So without further ado, we'll get the broadcast started by starting with NOLA.com's article, 3 questions the Pelicans must answer when the NBA reopens for business next week. Okay, Of course, we know about the timeline about December 22nd starting. And this is a guide right here to start off with big questions asking David Griffin, Trajan Langdon, and the Pelicans Brain Trust. What are these questions? Well, number one, is the Drew Holiday trade imminent? Now, Holiday is a coveted piece around the NBA. He burning up several teams. As you can look at the Drew Holiday Wheel of Fortune, all these teams are interested and more are interested in Drew Holiday. How serious is there? There's Miami's not up there, but they're interested as well. But there's a hot interest. Yahoo Sports reported that as many as 10 teams were interested in acquiring him. Holiday's appeal is obvious. He's versatile. Offensive player, can play the guard spot. On the opposite end, he's arguably the game's best perimeter defender. And Holiday is a beloved teammate. His only ice is, and he's icing on the cake because he won that award, and we knew that. They're going to end up trading him. Last December, Griffin pushed back hard on the notion that the Pelicans were looking to deal him. Last week, the Pelican executive VP said he struck a different tone when asked about the possibility of trading New Orleans' longest tender player. So he's saying, this is what man who speak with forked tongue said. He says, we're trying to build a team that can be highly competitive today and build towards a sustainable future. If that means that Drew is a part of that, that's special for us because he loves being with us and we love the way he plays. If the best way to build toward the future and the best way to put him in the best position to succeed is for him to be traded, then that's what ended up happening. Notice he says two different things in there.
Did he just agree with both sides of what people would have to answer that question? Like, a normal person would say one part of that or the other part. He just like put it all together.
Both of them. Man who speaks with forked tongue. That is his new nickname, DC. Man who speaks with forked tongue.
I'm just going to stand over here on top of this thing called the fence.
Well, listen, this is what it comes down to because if not him, who has the power to keep him? I mean, you the VP. You said we're keeping him, we're not trading him, you don't move him.
Man, hey, this is the one time that I realized Trajan Langdon got all the power, bro. See?
Yeah.
You?
How about that?
He just speaking.
They don't talk to Trajan that long, man. The key phrase is sustainable future. Griffin is he using them old UN buzzwords again. Has used it several times over the past. Sustainable future. The Pelicans want to compete for a playoff spot now, but their primary goal is to build a championship contender around Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. A few years down the road, that's why Holiday could be on the move soon. The Nuggets are one of the team who's been in the hunt for Holiday. They could offer a package of Gary Harris, Bobo, Monty Morris, and potentially even a pick. The Nets, right? The Nets are also rumored to be interested. Any deal between Brooklyn and New Orleans would likely involve Karis LeVert, who's the slashing guard who's under contract for the next 3 seasons. And 2 other teams to watch are Philadelphia, Atlanta. 76 can dangle Al Horford, Matisse Thybulle, which would
Wait, they go dangle Al Horford, dude.
So bitch actually said that with a straight face, man. Al Horford.
So wait, we getting rid of a $130 million contract to pick up a $110 million contract on a player that's older than Drew Holiday?
I'm telling you, man. And Horford's not what he was when he was with the Hawks, or when he was with Boston for that matter. I know. Yeah. He's not even close to that no more.
I like Matisse Thybulle though. He's a good player.
He is, but he's not worth a trade for Drew. Nah. You can't get it money straight up. That's why they're throwing Horford at it because that's close to money that you can make that money match. It's up the Pelicans starting.
Jason Richardson, they might be starting some type of conversation. Horford.
Nah, Horford is just throwing. The Pelicans starting center for the next 2 seasons and 23-year-old wingman who's already an excellent defender. The deal with the Hawks would likely include that 6 pick, which Atlanta owns the right to, and a player in a rookie deal. Such a move would free up cap space for New Orleans, allowing it to remain financially flexible for years to come. And then, of course, let's move it to the next one, DC. I'm going to run through these, and then I want you to then bounce back and then break and tell me how you feel about each one of them. Now, number 2 is how would the New Orleans plug the hole at center? If New Orleans wants to compete for a playoff spot next season, adding a center via trade or in free agency is a must. Last season, the Pelicans failed to piece any of Derek Favors. He said fell to pieces when he wasn't in the lineup. Favors played they when he played, they went 22-23. When he was unavailable, they went 6-13. Jackson Hayes is a good fit, at least one highlight dunk per game, but the 20-year-old still needs to learn the basics of the game before he's ready to take on the starting role. And then putting on some weight wouldn't hurt either. Favors, who averaged 9 points and 10 rebounds a game in 25 minutes or 24.4 minutes per game last season, is unrestricted. And the sources told Time Picayune that the 10-year veteran would be receptive to playing for Van Gundy. Now, historically, Van Gundy's team have been among the league leaders in preventing shots at the rim. Acquiring a center who is a deterrent inside will be crucial if New Orleans wants to complete a defensive turnaround, which is true. Now, another guy they're throwing out there saying it could be the guy is Aaron Baines.
That's right. The center everybody done dunked on after they say we need a deterrent inside. Yeah, go on.
A deterrent, a 34-year-old used up, washed up ass center.
He developed a 3-point shot. Big
was excellent for the Suns last year when Ankton was sidelined because of suspension. Baines wouldn't provide interior defense and spacing in the past too. No, absolutely not. You gonna put a 34-year-old center as your starter? Forget about that.
He fits the timeline.
Then they threw Tristan Thompson in here. I mean, who's writing this, man? Are these his agents writing these articles? Tristan spent the first 9 seasons of his career with Cleveland, also is unrestricted, totally undersized guy. Thompson is a tenacious rebounder, solid defender. He batshit crazy, and he makes way too much money. 2016, he and Griffin won a championship together with the Cavs. A reunion could make sense for both parties. Absolutely not. Totally undersized. Totally overpaid. And, of course, the third question is, how many former Lakers will the Pelicans extend? Bringing back Ingram, of course, on the lucrative long-term deal is a foregone conclusion. Right, Ingram was named All-Star. He won the most improved player of the season with the Pelicans. They view him as a franchise cornerstone, and they were blessed to have him there. Now, NBA salary cap is set to be north of $109 million. If Ingram signs a max deal, he'd be owed roughly $158 million over the next 5 seasons. Extensions for the 2 other players who acquired in the trade with Josh Hart and Zoe Ball are less certain. Last season, Hart carved out a role for himself as a hard-nosed reserve. Ball, who was thrust into the starting point guard role, showed encouraging signs before struggling during the NBA's restart. And in September, Ball signed with Clutch Sports, the agency that helped Davis force his way out of New Orleans. So if the Pelicans and Hart or Ball can't come to an agreement on an extension, both players would go in critical contract years. Now, DC, you heard the questions. How many of the former Lakers, the Pelicans will extend? And, of course, how should the Pelicans plug the hole at center? I didn't like none of those options. And, of course, the other question is a Drew Holiday trade imminent? What's your thoughts on all those?
Yes, Drew Holiday trade is definitely imminent because of the salary cap implications. We only got $109 million in salary cap. And there's if we cut, what's your boy name that you don't like, man? The Darius Miller. If we cut his $7 million off, that puts us at $7 million. So you give Brandon Ingram his money, you got about $5 million left. So Drew Holiday sitting up there with $27 million. You ain't got no choice but to get rid of him, bro. So we got to trade him with somebody. What we get back, I mean, we're going to see, man. You see the thumbnail. I don't know where the hell he going. I done gave up trying to figure it out at this point, man. I'm along for the ride like y'all. All I can do is give my opinion. We don't know what Drew Holiday going. But at the center position, I like Serge Ibaka. Now, I don't know if we can get Serge Ibaka, depending on the whole Drew Holiday thing. I'm a little deterred by this article and them saying that I'm deterred. Derek Favors says he wants to play for Stan Van Gundy. Man, it seems like Derek Favors really want to be here, but I'm wondering if he won't be here bad enough to play for $6 million, then maybe he could be here. Moving on to the Lakers and their extension, though. Right. All 3 of them, we gonna extend. All 3 of them. So Lonzo Ball, I don't know what the hell we're gonna wind up paying him. But let me see. Josh Hart, I say we probably give him like a $40 million contract. None of them, man, are getting extended this year. None of them. Not this year, but Lonzo Ball definitely he gonna get an extension. But with the clutch sports thing, man, I don't know how the hell that's gonna turn out. I know we don't like them people that damn much, and they pretty much get everybody paid. So Lonzo might have to test the free agent market and see what they gonna pay him, but I don't see him getting a $100 million contract or getting a max deal for like a number two. But he could get like $1 million deal or something like that. So it's gonna be crazy these years coming up with the Pelicans. But luckily we got a bunch of draft picks, so I'm sure we can fill out our bench and get everything popping like that. But these are three tough questions though, man. And that's Big Q. What you think about this, man? Because
I
you see, I'm
absolutely, I see you kind of
throw it
struggling.
off with these questions. Yeah, I'm struggling with these, man, because they're
Yeah.
tough questions, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know why you having such an issue with it, but I mean, it's pretty simple to me, DC man. To be honest with you, I think I think that the Pelicans are just what they are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just what it
Well,
is.
give me your answers to these questions, GMQ, because obviously they're simple questions, but there ain't no simple damn answers.
They are quite simple, if you ask me. Number one is a
Lay them
Drew
out.
is a Drew Holiday trade imminent? Hell yeah, it's imminent. You heard what the man who speaks with forked tongue said. He's keeping it real on that aspect. There are
Well,
all kind of trades all there over a dozen teams.
what about the other two though? That's really the tough ones. We know
Well,
Drew Holiday. Drew
well, I
Holiday.
mean, you asked me for the answers to the questions. I mean, you're gonna allow me to get walk through each of them before we get there, sir? Thank you. All right, number two. How should
I like to cut you off like you do me.
I don't do that, sir? Okay, let's see number two. How should not just plug the hole at center? If the New Orleans Saints want to compete for, I mean, the Saints. If the Pelicans are competing in the NBA and in the West, definitely you're gonna need a center. And like the article clearly shows that if you go back and look up Stan Van Gundy's team, they had a good rim protector there. When he took the team to the finals when he was in Orlando, you knew Dwight Howard was playing at a higher level. And then, of course, other previous reincarnations when he was there as head coach, he had decent rim protection, above average rim protection there. That's something that we have a lot of questions. I don't think Derek Favors is the answer there. He's gonna, made what $16+ million last season, and of course, we've heard about Serge Ibaka. I just don't know if he leaves Toronto. He loves Toronto. They love him up there. I don't know if he leaves there to come down here and play for the Pelicans. I think probably the Pelicans' clearest and best way to address this position should be in the draft, where they could pick up one of these young guys like we talked about. Smith. There's a guy that they can add to the roster as well. Getting a veteran, I don't think Baines is the guy. I wouldn't dare get Baines, 34 years old, kind of big, stumbling, bumbling ass center. I don't know about him, but we could probably find most certainly nobody like Dwayne Dedman, who's overpaid in my opinion, and most certainly nobody like Clint Capella. I think a lot of these guys will be up for trades because the contracts are ridiculous. But I mean, if the Pelicans are going to play this thing smart, man, Al Horford is most certainly off the table. We're going to have to find somebody that can help out in that regard. As contracts is not ridiculous. I think Favors will be out of their pocket, out of the money range. And like I said, I think we already have Jackson Hayes. You're going to have to get Jackson Hayes ready sooner or later. I mean, maybe you could reach back to and keep Jahlil Okafor for $2 million. He made $1 million for you. Maybe you can keep him at a cheaper contract and keep him here to play. I mean, he has an offensive game. And he knows the team, knows this, he has a continuity with the rest of the players. Jahlil Okafor could be a guy. I'd rather have Jahlil Okafor here than a freaking Aaron Baines, man. Come on.
I like that, but man, you was pretty hard on Derek Favors a while ago. Now you leaning towards accepting him back here?
No, I didn't say bring Favors back. I said that he's going to cost too much money for them to bring him back, and I think they need to move on in the direction to find either you paid an inexpensive quality reserve, and you have one in Jahlil Okafor. I would like him. You can bring him back. You can work with Jahlil Okafor. He showed a lot. He showed a lot of promise since his first couple of years when he came in the league, and you can see he was balling out. He definitely has offensive game. His defense leveled up. So I think Stan Van Gundy can work with a guy like Jahlil Okafor, who did a lot better job of running the floor and his offensive weapons and all that kind of stuff. We can utilize him. He knows the team, has a camaraderie with the guys here. He won't be an expensive player to attain. And then, of course, you would have to still develop guys like Jackson Hayes. And, of course, if you were to draft a guy like Smith and bring him, who's a 7-footer who can shoot the three-pointer, you can add him in here, and you can bring these guys all together. So that's my take on it. I would not go out there and overspend on a veteran center when you have a young center you spent the first-round draft pick on. And if you do get another center, you have two guys, but you can kind of have a Twin Towers look if you had to. You can't oversell that length that they'll have, that reach that they'll have. One guy, and they're both defensive guys. You can have that Twin Tower look. Jackson has to gain weight, no doubt about it. Third question is, how many former Lakers will the Pelicans extend? And in all likelihood, it'll probably be just two of the three. I don't see them doing all three of these guys. Because the truth of the matter is, the Pelicans, really, the big elephant in the room for the Pelicans is Lonzo Ball. Let's get that straight. It's not Drew Holiday. We knew Drew Holiday moving forward that the team was going to look to move Drew Holiday sooner or later, because he's a part of the old regime in terms of he was paired with Anthony Davis and guys like that for an opportunity to win a championship. That failed. When Anthony got shipped out, it was on that matter of time from Drew Holiday was going to get traded anyway. And right now he's healthy, and his trade value has never been greater than what it is now. Get you a young piece, draft pick, maybe a complimentary player. I say see if you can get you 2 for 1 in the pick. Maybe that's a bit much, but being that the game is so competitive for him, you can get some good returns. Being that there's such a demand for him, you can get 2 in 1. You can get 2 players in the pick for him. So there'll be some competitive packages there. But the elephant in the room is Lonzo Ball. If the Pelicans are really serious or can look ahead and have the vision to move ahead the next year or two and see if they're going to be willing to pay Lonzo Ball that kind of money to remain here with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, then, keep him, groom him, and then pay him. But in the end, I'm not too certain. So many rumors coming out and so many different mock drafts have the Pelicans looking at guards. They're not looking at those guards just by coincidence. They're looking ahead. They're not going to pay, because Zoe Ball is going to command a nice chunk of change when his contract is due. And the truth be told, we know they need a backup point guard. But if I was them, I would look for a veteran there and not some young guy you got to train off the bench, and you just got a young guy that's learning your system now.
You don't think they're possibly trying to replace the shooting guard position, Big Q? I mean, Lonzo Ball, the synergy that he's created with Zion and all the numbers point towards those two guys being on the floor, and
means as much as the synergy that Drew Holiday built with Zion Williamson. It
ain't none. There ain't none.
All I'm saying is the only synergy you need to be concerned about is Ingram and Zion Williamson synergy. Everybody else is in play when it comes down to that. Because I don't think they're extending them out. You and I both know that.
I think they will extend out Lonzo Ball, because if you're not extending out Lonzo Ball, in my opinion, then there will be a lot more rumors about him getting traded as opposed to Drew Holiday, or both of them. Any trade rumor that I listen to, it's always Drew Holiday or JJ Redick involved. It's all about getting younger. Lonzo Ball is obviously going to be a player that's going to get better the older he gets. Drew Holiday, JJ Redick, those guys are going to decline. As long as Lonzo Ball isn't trying to get a Drew Holiday contract, I think he gets extended. If it's under $100 million, your 70s, 60s, shoot, I think they might go as far as the 80s. Hopefully not, but I don't see them looking at all these guards to try to replace the point guard position. I mean, we need a backup guard. Nikola, I always say this guy's name wrong. NAW. He's basically a shooting guard to me. I don't know if he'll be the starting shooting guard, but if we lose, let's say, Josh Hart, then, I mean, you would have to start him at some point, or he'll have heavy minutes in the rotation. If JJ Redick's gone, which he probably will be next year, that amps his minutes up. We got him on a rookie deal for another 2 years after this year. So I see them more looking at guards for a starting shooting guard position, or elevating that guy up to a starting shooting guard position and replace him with somebody on the bench. But we still need a backup point guard too. So we got to look at guards far as Lonzo Ball not being here, man, it just be weird for them to get that all of these Lakers players and only wind up with two of them, and he
I
not
don't
be
know.
one of them after the whole thing. I don't know. It's just
I
the
don't think Josh
popularity
Hart,
of the
Josh Hart
team.
breaks you. That's what I'm saying. You about
Josh
this.
Hart doesn't. I like
You
him.
gonna spend $150 million on Ingram. That's you got an all-star there. You got
Right.
Zion Williamson there. Zoe Ball is not gonna give you a price break. He wants money. That's why he got this firm.
How
So
much money do you think he would command on the open market? Because
uh,
that'll answer both our questions.
I mean, the question is how much money would you be willing to pay a young point guard that in his position? That's the thing. What would the Pelicans be willing to pay? Because I don't think they'll be willing to spend more than what is he making now?
I think they take Drew Holiday's contract and they break that in half for their shooting guard and their point guard, and
13 million.
they'd be willing to pay that much for both of them. Now,
I don't know about that.
however you ration that out, Q, is how you ration it out. If you get a rookie, uh, middle round draft pick, let's say the number 13 pick, we draft starting shooting guard of the future, or let's say it's NAW guy making $3 million, whatever they got left over from that, they'd be willing to pay a substantial chunk of that, I would think, for Lonzo Ball. And then by him being younger and him getting older, he's gonna get better. So the whole thing with the money, I think, obviously, is because of the COVID thing too. But I think a lot of it has to do with Drew Holiday's 30. So as these guys hit their prime, when they, in the best that they can be, Drew Holiday gonna be at the worst he can be. And I guess the contract talks must not be going too well. Drew Holiday wants to continue to make what he making, envisioning himself as the uh, Mr. Underrated LeBron James. Like, the LeBron James are underrated guys. He's gonna be the same player when he's 35 in his mind, maybe. So obviously, to me, the Lonzo Ball thing, especially depending on how he plays this year, if he played how he played with Jahlil Okafor out there when Drew Holiday was hurt, when you saw Lonzo Ball putting up like 22, 10, and 7, if he played like that, I mean, I think a lot of people would be willing to give him money, including the Pelicans, if he put up them type of numbers without Drew Holiday here. So a lot of it will
Well,
depend on the season.
well, I mean, many people thinking it'll be fought with he's demanding anywhere between 13 to 14 million a season.
Shit, he already making 11. That ain't nothing.
Right, but that's in this year. That escalation. But you're looking at a 4-year deal at 13, 14 million a year. So what is that? You 45, 50 million over 4 years. Would they be willing to do that for him? I mean, we'll see, man.
I think he turns that down. I think he's probably looking the 60, $70 million range.
And that's why we're having issues, because that's why I was saying is like that's a logical parameter for Lonzo, and of course he turns that down in open market, and for somebody that's willing to give him that kind of money. I mean, for him to guide that team, and of course he'll be a lot better when he do get to that point. So
what if he wins most improved player of the year, and he's a fringe all-star? Does that change anything?
It does raise the stock. It does, but you've already committed resources insofar as what you're going to give. You got Ingram with his 150 million. You're going to turn around and give your point guard 60 million,
If he looks like he could be that third
or
star,
70 million.
if he looks like he can be that third star, and he becomes the Lonzo that everybody said he would be, or the UCLA guy, you think it's a bad idea?
I still say that. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea if you weren't the Pelicans, but I don't see the Pelicans committing that amount of money to Zoba. I'm just keeping it real with you. I think 13, 14, $15 million, 3 or 4 year deal. I mean, incentive laden, all that stuff in it. I mean, we just gonna have to keep monitoring it, man. But the reality at the end of the day is, I don't see the
15
Pelicans.
million, 4 years. I think you're right.
I don't see
I
the
think
Pelicans.
everybody's happy.
I don't see the Pelicans spending that kind of money, man. But anyway, listen, we're gonna finish up on the rest of the discussion because we got other news, notes, and items we're gonna get into after the other side of the break. Now we're gonna get into the chat as well. Questions, concerns, comments, put them in the chat. I promise y'all, we're gonna get to y'all questions. I appreciate y'all too. Thank you, Michael, for joining us on the Pelican Post Game Report. Big ups to everybody. We're gonna get into the chat on the other side of the break when we get to the articles. Me and DC will return. Just stick with us. You're listening to the Pelican Post Game Report. We'll be right back.
Remington Tax Solutions is a company that, together with their partners, provide virtual tax consultation and preparation for individuals, small business, and nonprofit. They also provide notary and a host of other business-related services for their clients. Their associates provide a systematic yet very client-centered approach to their services. They offer the industry knowledge and insight to help solve your most complex tax issues. At Remington, their currency is time, the one resource that cannot be replenished. For that reason, they utilize the simplest and most effective forms of technology to make their services faster and more efficient. No need to wait in the office until your taxes are completed. Simply upload your documents via the Taxes to Go app or via their client portal, and they'll take care of the rest. Remington Tax Solutions is a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals and participates in the IRS Annual Filing Season Program, which is a voluntary tax education program to stay abreast of the ongoing changes in tax legislation. Remington Tax Solutions has a strong connection to the communities in which they serve. It is a part of their mission to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors. So, if you're looking for a reliable, effective, and trustworthy tax preparation service, Remington Tax Solutions is the business for you. Contact Remington Tax Services at their number 682-307-4410 or simply go to remingtontax.com. That's remingtontax.com. Remington Tax Service, virtual tax preparation for the individual and small business.
Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home delivered, restaurant quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50 plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specializing in affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from HomeBistro.com? Restaurant quality, made with natural ingredients, delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat. Doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with HomeBistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with HomeBistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Live clean, eat cleaner. The only natural and patented produce wash. Eat Cleaner is a tasteless, odorless, and lab-tested line of food wash and wipes that is up to 99.9% more effective than water and cleaning wax. The only natural, patented produce wash in a 14-day study. Applying Eat Cleaner all-natural fruit vegetable wash to a variety of fruit and 100 pure guaranteed vegetables also prolong shelf life up to 5 times longer through a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. This can help save your family on average of over $500 per year, reducing waste and making it easy to get your half plate of fruit and vegetables each day. Eat Cleaner offers a wide variety of solutions for food safety and shelf life extension for consumers, retailers, food service, and operators. USDA bio-based, OMRI listed for use on organic produce, non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, made in the USA, lab-proven, and patented. So if you want cleaner fruits and veggies, try Eat Cleaner. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you tuned into the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. We in the building, family. Big ups to all the Pelican family. We in this thing, man. Another fantastic Friday night. First segment is out of the way. Second segment is going to be an extended segment. We got quite a few news, notes, and items to cover, plus your comments, questions in the chat. I see your family. We're going to get to them. A lot of good questions as well, man, that we're going to get to. But like Mike says in the chat, Mike Broussard, big ups to your family. He says, if Ball wants more than $13 million a year, he says, I'm treating him and keeping NAW. So, I mean, we do have options if we don't want to keep Ball. But see, that's what I was talking about. That's the elephant in the room. Everybody want to look at Drew Holiday. But the issue is Zoe Ball. Zoe Ball's lining up for a payday. And it's more than 13 to 15 million a season. This guy looking off the 16 million a season. He looking at 55 to 75 million. A chunky contract. He sees himself as a star in this league, and he's going to be on that level in Ball. Now, listen, it depends for the next year or so. See where we are. But what's really going to be interesting to see what direction the team takes, DC, is what the draft looks like. So, I mean, if they draft will kind of put us in line of what they're trying to do or what they get for Holiday. So we're going to see all this stuff will play out because it has to, man. It's getting close to the season, and that's the good thing. Everything's going to play out a lot faster. Go ahead.
I heard them trying to move up for the 6th pick. I know we're going to get into some of these trade scenarios with Drew Holiday, but if the Pelicans were seriously trying to move up to the 6th pick, do you really think they're trying to move up to draft a point guard? Like I would think they're trying to move up to get hopefully Edwards. Let me see somebody like Wiseman. If he dropped, because I'm thinking, let me see. Okay, and Ngakwe, if he drops, I mean, he got the guy Killigan Hayes, Tyrese Halliburton, who a lot of people compare to Lonzo Ball further along. What a shot. A guard out of Iowa State. So there's a lot of interesting guys in the draft, man. But I don't see a lot of players in the league that have the same skill set as Lonzo Ball. Or where's our floor generals? Because if we can get rid of Lonzo Ball and get a floor general, we obviously have two guys who can score in Brandon Ingram and Zion, and we're gonna surround shooters around them. And everybody wants all these players that can score. What are the guys that can facilitate? Now, if you're gonna turn Brandon Ingrams into, I guess, Kevin Durant with some LeBron James facilitation, then I guess maybe if Zion starts putting up more assists, you could do without Alonzo Ball. But until you have somebody that can basically command and run the team, you at least need a guy like that. NAW to me is not that guy. There's probably maybe 2 or 3 guys in the draft that fit that same template. Other than that, you're kind of in a rock and a hard place. And I think it's all about how he performs. Yeah, I think it's all about how he performs this year. And you're right, Big Q. I am looking at one draft, but the sustainable future of the Pelicans would depend on a timeline and a core and guys building together. And Lonzo Ball is also actually Brandon Ingram's probably his best friend. So a lot of these things, and we're trying to be a family and all of this, I think they would try to keep that nucleus together, those guys, for purposes of keeping Zion around longer and him not going to, I guess, everybody try to put everybody on the Knicks or the Lakers once they contract up out of a small market team. So the way that they do this, I think a lot of the thinking would be on Zion and how they're looking at it. And I think Zion likes Lonzo Ball as well as Brandon Ingram. So I think it gives him a little bit of leverage from those standpoints. But if he starts asking for ridiculous,
I don't think it gives him much leverage, DC. I'm just going to be honest with you.
If he starts asking for like 17, 18 million, then yeah, I agree with you guys. But I think 13,
do you pay
14,
him?
15. Yeah, I wouldn't go past 15 million.
Do you pay him, DC? That's the bottom line question is, do you pay
I
him?
I would pay him. I wouldn't go past $15 million a year, though. Now, there's one caveat. If Lonzo Ball goes to a goddamn all-star game this year, then I seriously got to sit down and think about it.
All right, let's keep moving. Let's go to the next article, Pelicans offseason. Let's talk about the Pelicans offseason preview. We'll go down the roster as well and look at it. We talk about Zion Williamson. That's the top of the chain right there. And, he was the single most efficient offensive rookie in the NBA history. Among all rookies in NBA history, he finished 22nd with an effective field goal percentage of 59.2. And nobody ahead of him took even 9 shots per game. Zion took 15. The first name to come up on the list was, with that kind of volume, Shaq O'Neal, whose rookie effective field goal percentage falls at 56.2%. Zion Health is a big, big if. But it needs to be said the Pelicans just don't have a star there. They have a capital superstar. If he stays healthy, he's winning multiple MVPs. Case in point, Giannis. He had a field goal percentage of almost 59% last season. You won the MVP. Zion beat that as a rookie. A couple of bad games in Orlando won't change that. Now, let's move on to Zion Ball. Lonzo Ball shot 38.3% from three-point range in the bubble, 28.1% in Orlando. Disney doesn't erase that incredible improvement, but Ball still has other holes in his game. But he's no longer a liability from the arc, thanks to working hard with J.J. Redick and Fred Vinson. It helped them improve that three-point shot. Now, Ingram he's one All-Star, most improved player there. He was that big bright spot, and everybody knew he was on the cusp of being All-Star. He finally realized that, felt a lot peeved, and he was able to then use that to kind of put himself in a position to be the most improved player, and also became an All-Star for the first time. Pelicans had 6th best 5 lineup in the basketball last season, the 6th best 5-man lineup in basketball last season. Ball, Williamson, Ingram, Favors, and Holiday outscored opponents by 109 points in 288 minutes. No Lakers, Clippers, Raptors, or Celtics lineups match that. Pelicans currently have 5 first-round picks on rookie deals, not including 23-year-old Ingram. They have 2 future Lakers picks coming all on their own picks as well, including one in the lottery this month. Now, the asset base here is totally unmatched. And then, of course, you have luxury land, a series of off-season previews that come with a sense of urgency that is totally absent in New Orleans. Pelicans don't have to win a championship right now. They're desperately trying to recruit a 2021 free agent. They've decided who they're going to be, what kind of team they're going to be in the next decade, and they're taking their sweet time doing it. Now, there's no reason not the Pelicans to have so much talent, so many draft picks, so little bad salary that they are entering the offseason with the freedom to do practically anything they want. The preview will attempt to figure out what exactly what do they want to do and how they're going to go about getting it. Now, Sport Track, DC, said they gave some salaries for 2019-2020 cap. A frozen cap is the likeliest outcome of the negotiation between the league and the MEAPA, but these numbers could theoretically change in either direction. Now, under the assumption that the 2019-2020 season will be used, there are pertinent numbers for certain projections. And, of course, they lay out the salary cap of 109.1 and the luxury cap of 132.6, luxury tax apron 138.9, the salary floor of 98.2, and several other interesting numbers as well. The biannual exception at 3.6, the cap room mid-level exception for 1 year at 4.7, taxpayer mid-level exception year 1 5.7, non-taxpayer and mid-level exception for year 1 is 9.2. So interesting numbers there. And now they get into the team numbers. cap situations and overall finances. The first thing you notice in the cap sheet is how efficient it is. There are no extraneous salaries. Remember, they got rid of that. They got rid of the Solomon Hill garbage ass salary and all that. The bad contracts are gone. There are no lingering busts from the previous administration. The only contract that might be viewed as undesirable belongs to DC's favorite Pelican, Darius Miller, and it's not guaranteed if he stays.
Wait, hold up. How is that my favorite Pelican?
You're always advocating for him. It will be
when you heard me advocate,
you advocated for him on last show, talking about Darius Miller. You shoot the three. Nobody talk about Darius Miller, not even Darius Miller. It'll be a salary filler in future trades.
I said
or
the
otherwise.
man can shoot the three off the bench, but she ain't hear me advocating for him. $7 million. I said cut him.
Oh, now you're jumping off the bandwagon. Okay, I got you.
Off with his head.
This is one of the cleanest cap sheets in basketball right now with Darius Miller. Of course, he'd probably be a throw-in. He got a 9-guaranteed contract, of course, which is still good. Now, the players on the 2020-21 salary, Drew Holiday's 26.26 is what he has, and that's why the Pelicans are looking at moving him. To have that cap space and, of course, to have that draft capital to build younger. Next guy on the list is $13 million, from J.J. Redick. Lonzo Ball's $11 million right now. Zion Williams is $10.2. Then, of course, $7 million from Darius Miller. Jackson Hayes then drops to 5, and then Nico Melli's 3.8, 3.4 from Josh Hart, 3.1 for NAW. You got number 13 pick it's going to be probably around that 13.6 million parameter. And the total is 86.7 is what the salary is for 2021 for the Pelicans. Now, DC, the total missing one notable price is Ingram. He removes any lingering hope of 2020 cap space and you can only assume will be a max contract. If it lasts for 5 years based on the current cap, he'll make around $27.3 million in his first season and around $158.3 million over the life of the deal. There have been no indications suggesting the Pelicans want to make this offer. Even if they don't want to, interest in Ingram would be so great. Even on that contract, they might as well sign him and trade him later if that's the issue. There'll be no interest from the cap space teams either, but won't get far if Ingram will be a Pelican unless somebody blows Griffin away. Notice they say Griffin and not Travis Langdon away with a sign and trade deal. Now, with all that being said, and we're going to talk about all the other deals, Josh Hart's eligible for an extension as well, and what his deal could look like. It'd be a nice comparison to Malik Beasley, what he got with Denver, offering him that $30 million on 3 years, was basically $10 million a year. That's not a bad deal. And then we have 3 internal free agents the Pelicans can sign for cheap. Kenrick Williams, Frank Jackson, guys like that.
I don't want
you
Kenrick
can look
Williams.
at. And then, of course, and the Pelicans also can decide to try to see if you can get a home discount with guys like Derek Favors. But really the bulk of the matter and the money is going to Ingram. And, of course, they would have to see if they can add some pieces in there. Now, they talking about Aaron Baines and Marc Gasol and guys like that to try to be rim protectors. Before I get deep into the rest of this, into this information, comment on what I said about the cap and what you're looking at with Ingram and so on and so forth.
Well, Brandon Ingram, man, I mean, obviously you got to give him that max deal. There ain't no way around it. And 158, that's about what he would have made last year if we would have probably had tried to give it to him then because of the COVID thing. It was going to be more money than that because I remember last year we was talking maybe around 180 million or it's like 170 or something potentially for Brandon Ingram. So we're actually getting a little bit of a break. We're giving him the 158. And when you think about that 27 million, and you look at our cap sheet, you see Drew Holiday sitting there at 26. So you can see why they won't trade him. They about to give Brandon Ingram basically all the money they giving Drew Holiday. Like, well, you're not better than Brandon Ingram, so we just gonna give him that money and move on from you. And then you look at J.J. Redick with his $13 million, which will be coming off next year. And I don't think we bring J.J. Redick back next year. I know he wants to keep playing probably. He's probably going to wind up on a contender shooting to help somebody get a ring. Hopefully it ain't LeBron. I'm kind of sick of that whole thing at this point. Then all these other guys, I mean, you're going to have some guys up for a raise, and Lonzo Ball and Josh Hart. So we have to see how that pans out. $30 million for Josh Hart, I think, is a good deal. I say $40 million because I was thinking 4 years. But $30 million, $10 million, yeah, I think Josh Hart is worth every penny of that. And if he's willing to take that deal, shit, he could be a Pelican. That'd be great. Frank Jackson, I say we bring him back. I'm sure he ain't gonna command a lot of money. Kendrick Williams, I don't want him back. I know you like him. That's your favorite guy. But I don't want him back, bro. I mean, he been working with Vincent all this time. He still ain't got a damn jump shot. Get him out of here, man. Let him go play in Sacramento with Alvin Gentry, bro. Maybe that'll work out for him. But I don't think Derek Favors is taking no discount, brother. I think he gonna wind up back with Utah before he do that. They probably would give him more money than we will at this point. And I actually like your sentiments earlier about Jahlil Okafor. I think that would be great. I'm forgetting about Stan Van Gundy and what he probably could do with him. So I didn't think of him as far as vaulting him into maybe a starting role while Jackson Hayes still tries to get it figured out, which really I think he just needs to get the lunchroom and the weight room figured out. Maybe he could follow Zion Williamson around, and that'll help him out. He can eat all the meals that Zion they're trying to get Zion to stop. He just need to go home with Zion and let Zion mama cook for Jackson Hayes. I'm pretty sure that'll solve a lot of our problems. And then just put him in the weight room. So we get that going, man. And we'll keep all our Lakers. I think we have a very interesting team moving forward to go along with the draft picks that we got, man. The Pelicans are really setting themselves up to be a real championship contender at some point, in my opinion. And I think next year, regardless of whether we have Drew Holiday or not, I think we will be a playoff team. And people are going to be amazed at what they see out of Zion Williamson. A healthy, in-shape Zion Williamson. I got to put that asterisk right there. But him healthy and in shape, bro. I mean, you said it, Big Q, with the numbers the guys put up. People always talk about what he can't do, and he don't do this. He can't really shoot and all this stuff. All he do is dunk. I mean, wrap your mind around this. This dude was the most efficient player ever as a rookie, and he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? The first 3 games he played, he was coming back from an injury. Just start getting it going. The seasons get shut down, and you got the whole bubble fiasco. So, but the sky's the limit for that guy, man. And we talk about his defense. I don't think he was playing defense that hard because he was hurt. So, if he's got all that together with his knee, he get that weight down, man. And you got Brandon Ingram. He takes one more step forward. Lonzo Ball takes a step forward. You're looking at a dangerous team in the West that will compete for a playoff spot, with or without Drew Holiday. So I think that's one of the main reasons the Pelicans are looking at trading Drew. I believe we'll be a better team with him, but we could be an even better team in the future without him, with everything that we could get for him. I like the direction they're trying to go with these draft picks too, because we talking about all this money. Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, you keep those guys. You fill a team out with this conveyor belt full of draft picks, man. You're looking at keeping guys around 4 or 5 years on rookie salaries. Very, very high in talent. That's the motto of success in a sustainable future. So that's why I think they keep Lonzo Ball. I know we keep talking about that. But with everything that the Pelicans have, man, they're going to need some guys to actually be veterans. And I don't think we have to bring in a lot of veterans if we just let them build organically, grow organically. You know, we're using these buzzwords that David Griffin used. And I think that will be them basically growing their own veterans in-house and just keeping this conveyor belt full of draft picks coming in. And so far, with Jackson Hayes, Alexander Walker, NAW. I don't know what we got in Didi Lazole, but so far, those 2 draft picks, I like what they did. And Zion Williamson, can't argue with that draft at all. So really excited to see what they do on the 18th.
The buzzwords is sustainable future.
And grow
sustainable.
You got to remember, grow organically. He says that one all the time.
Sustainable future means sustainable, and it means in terms of financial. Meaning not overpaying for contracts And listen, that's the thing. The Pelicans, and remember, this is what it comes down to. It's two ways you're going to build your team. You're going to either build a team through free agency, or you're going to build it through the draft. And I think the Pelicans are going to take more toward where they had the opportunity to get an all-star and Brandon Ingram to pair with a superstar, and both those guys will grow together. I think if Zion Williamson really not Zion Williamson, if Lonzo Ball really wants to be here, then he'll fit his contract within their idea of it. But I'm thinking they're not going to wait from him. They'll probably have a replacement behind him when that time comes. So that's why I'm saying I don't think what he's looking for, and with him picking up that new agency, they don't believe in sustainable contracts. They're trying to get blowout contracts, life-changing contracts for their personnel. That didn't coincide with sustainable. Yeah. And plus, you have a small market team in the Pelicans. Idealistically, small market teams tend to use the draft to build because it's cheaper to do that way, homegrown talent. And that's why the Pelicans accrued so many draft picks over the years where they can be able to do that. And they have a pipeline similar to you see smaller markets team do, like Utah's done over time. They've built through the draft. So is OKC. They built through the draft and developed that talent. And that's something that I think the Pelicans will use in part. They'll use the draft a lot and smart moves to get veterans that can help the team along in certain aspects. But this team is going to be pretty much a team driven by younger talent, mostly acquired through the draft. Let's move into that aspect of it, though. Draft capital, the Pelicans with 2020 picks have number 13 pick, the 39th pick, 42 pick, and number 60 pick in this draft. And then the incoming future first-round draft picks of 2021. They have first-round picks from 2021 from the Lakers, which are protected between 18 and 30. There's an unprotected one in 2022. There's one in 2024 from the Lakers that's unprotected, but the Pelicans have the right to defer until 2025. And this is where you see a lot of the capnomics in terms of the draft capital that the Pelicans are having, which is showing you a small vantage point that they intend to build the team through the draft for the foreseeable future while making smart veteran moves to be able to kind of build a team to make them competitive. So getting a coach like Stan Van Gundy right away with the talent that he has on his team, and of course you can draft a guy like Smith like we like and bring him in here and help. If something tell me he'll be available at that pick when the Pelicans get there. So he'll be one, in my opinion, he'll help out at the center position. He's a 7-footer who plays defense, runs the floor well, and can knock down a three. He can space the floor for him, and then of course you work with him and Jackson Hayes, and of course Jahlil Okafor. But I'm pretty sure they'll find another veteran as well, whether it's Marc Gasol or somebody they can throw in there to kind of help out to be a physical force when you need him to be. But let's address the draft now. Let's look into the draft and options as far as that concerned. Now, with several draft picks, just mock drafts at the Pelicans looking at 3-and-D players, wing shooters around Zion Williamson, need more shooting around Zion. And, of course, they've tied us to Devin Vassell. They did Sadiq Bey, Aaron Naismith. That was the newest flavor of the month now. Aaron Naismith, all of them in love with Aaron Naismith and Desmond Bain. So, and then, of course, my pick is I would go with Jalen Smith, the big center. Then I would go with the shooting guards. But if the Pelicans really, it's a bunch of stuff going on. We'll talk about the trade options after this. But let's quickly go through this. The flavor of the month now is Aaron Naismith. Which one is a better fit? Do we go with the shooting, the 3D shooter in terms of the 3-guard shooter and Aaron Naismith or Sadiq Bey? Or do you look at a guy like Jalen Smith who fills the center position, who can shoot the three as well and play defense and run the floor?
It's a question depending upon what the Pelicans do before or after when can we trade, Big Q? Can we trade right before the draft?
Yes.
Well, that's going to depend on what we draft. If we stay pat to me before the draft, that would tell me that it's no rush to trade Drew Holiday. So they would at least give him a chance to see how this is going to work with him there. So at that point, we would have to draft a Jalen Smith, or what's a couple other guys they got, man, at center. Because if we don't draft Jalen Smith, then what other center would you
would have
be
to
interested in?
Well, you would have to wait till the second round to see if you would have to accrue a big guy in
like
the second round. But I mean, there was the kid, the freshman from USC. What's his name?
Nah,
Okongwu.
he's too high up, man.
Of course, well, they got him listed. They got him listed ahead of James Wiseman. I don't know if I agree with some of those boards, but
Right.
I know. And then there's what's Pokasev? What's his name?
I like Daniel
Poksukovsky,
Tourier,
the Serbian.
another guy who can hit some shots on the outside, and he can block some shots too. He averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. So, think a guy like that.
How about Killian Tilly
Killian Tilly, that's
from
the
Gonzaga?
Duke kid, right? Gonzaga.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with him, brother. Well, tell me a little bit about him.
Well, he's 6'10", he's about 230 pounds. Wingspan is about 6'10". He's 22 years of age, and they compare his game is similar to that of Davis Bertans and Robert Horry. So he does have the range. He can knock down the three. He can run the floor. He needs to work on his what is it? I want to say his strength aspect, but he does have perimeter shooting. He has a feel for the game. He also makes plays for you, and he's a good off-ball defender. But strength is an issue. You're gonna have to work on that strength, because a lot of these other guys that they have that you're looking at are undersized guys. You know, you have you talk about Okongwu, who's about 6'9", 250.
Yeah,
He's a
he
brute.
ain't playing no center for you, but
Right.
I mean, he pretty much guard every other position though. He's
Right.
a hell of a defender.
But that's what we was pushing that Jalen Smith from Maryland, because he's 6'10". He's about 200 almost 235 pounds, 230, 235. He can help out, and you want somebody with length and size, and I think because you got to have somebody with some size. Then there's the Arizona freshman. I don't know too much about him. He does have some interior scoring and rebounding. He's 7 feet tall, 240 pounds, but he needs to work on that strength a little bit more. So, but there's different guys. The sophomore from Oturu.
The Duke kid, man, Vernon Conley Jr. You heard a little bit about him?
Vernon, bro. He got the NBA center's body. You know, he
lost 30 pounds in that big.
Yeah. I got you on that, because they had him listed on several reports at 270. So he probably got down to 250-ish or 240, 250-ish, somewhere in there. But he does have good size. He's 6'10". He got that 7-foot wingspan, and he's very young.
He getting outside shots now. They was comparing him to Okafor, but he knocking that three down now.
They compared him. He got a soft touch. I seen his shot. They comparing that touch to DeMarcus Cousins, and I don't know if you remember Jared Sullinger used to play for Ohio State, but they comparing his game to him. But the guy is he's interesting, man. And guess what? They love Dukies. So I mean, Vernon Carey Jr. could be somebody interesting. I mean, he would be. You would think he would be there when the Pelicans pick at the what pick is that, when they go at the top of one of their second round picks?
39.
Yeah. So you're thinking he could be there.
He's a good rim protector too. I wouldn't trust him switching, but as far as protecting the rim, he's pretty good at that. So I think he's a guy that could possibly work, depending on. I think the Pelicans are going to draft smart though, man, because this is going to be the most unpredictable draft I could ever remember.
It's hard to peel on.
Somebody really, really good might fall right into our lap that we were not anticipating on being there.
Yeah, that's very well possible, man, because of the way things are shaking up. With the draft starting on the 18th of the month of this month, and 2 days later, you got free agency kicking in. So they're gonna have a lot of stuff going real fast. It's gonna be really something else. And of course, the season started a little bit more than a month after that, where people have to get the players signed and then get them in the camp and get everybody, acquiesce to the game plan. So you're right, it depends, man, because you have this new regime coming in. These guys haven't even finished getting all the assistant coaches together. We know idealistically what Stan Van Gundy wants to do, but you're looking at the team saying they're talking sustainability, which means they're not going to spend a lot of money on free agents. They're going to trade with teams for contracts that are feasible to them, and they're going to build this team through the draft. That's why they accrue so many draft picks. That's the simple thing. And let's move forward to the trade options, because this is an interesting aspect of it too. Now, we talked about some of it early on, but they're mentioning Harris LeVert is someone we talked about, a shooting center, attacking guard, DC. In trade options, they're looking at an attacking guard. Ball is in the driver, at least at this point, they're saying. He, in my opinion, I think Ball does tend to, if he, when he's pissed off, he does take the ball to the hoop when he's pissed off. But but most of the time he like to sit back there and facilitate. He's gotten better with the 3-pointer. But they're looking for an attacking guard, or a slashing guard who can also shoot the three, who can knock down three at the highest clip. They keep mentioning people like Karis LeVert. And then of course,
sound like your guy Andy Edwards.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't think DC. I think he's going before the third, unless somebody move up there again. I think he's going in the top 3 picks.
It's hypotheticals where I think teams can be foolish. Like let's say.
But before I want you to hold that thought for a second. Let me get through this, and then I want you to elaborate on that point, because this is going to add to everything that you're saying, and I want you to put it all together. Now, this is what the perception of what the Pelicans need. They need an attacking guard, a slasher, who also can play a little defense and shoot the three. A shooting center. If Zion's ever become a good shooter, it probably means that something has gone wrong. The Pelicans don't want to waste time on him with the threes. They want him to attack the basket, optimizing the skill stat space. Skill starts with spacing the floor properly, and having everybody around so Zion can operate. And then, of course, they want that shooting center. And, of course, Miles Turner is in, with the Pacers communications. And a lot of people talking about that could be a possible deal with Indiana. And, of course, more picks, add more picks to build the bench or the deep aspects of the team with young personnel and a mixture of cheap veterans. Another star in his prime. This is the toughest sell given the timeline the rest of the roster is operating under. But winning now isn't a hard pivot with favors. Bird writes under the book, Zion's injury risk potentially makes a hard push a safer decision. Say, for instance, the Pelicans could spend the assets from a Holiday trade into a bigger offer for, say, Bradley Beal. So far, nobody's been able to prime loose from Washington. The Pelicans have the assets to change that. Now, Williamson, Ingram, Beal is either a contention caliber core right now or is soon to be, which is interesting. To have them guys. I don't see that happening, of course. But there are other serious things as well.
Bill said he don't want to go nowhere, bro.
He buying in the wall.
John Wall is looking amazing right now, so he want to ride that out.
Right. So I mean, yeah. When I've seen the pictures on him, so he definitely into it. So let's keep it going on this. Now, the paragraph is less realistic as far as the predecessor. The Nets, the Pacers stand out as the likeliest trade partners according to the information that's coming out. That brings up another very available Pelican. Does J.J. Redick get involved here? Do they look to move J.J. Redick? Pelicans could easily just keep him. Let's say the contract lapses and they call it a day, but contenders will want Redick in a package. Moving him also creates more minutes for young players. Hart and AW could see more worth and develop. If the Pelicans are still willing to deal with the Lakers again, perhaps Danny Green for the number 28. Redick, for Redick is something that they'd be pushing. Sixers would love Redick back. I heard that again. How about something? Josh Richardson, is also something. Then they got guys with a 4-for-1 cap deal with Mike Scott, Zaire Smith, and the rest of these guys they could throw in. And what about the Bucks? The Bucks are throwing in could be Ilya Sova or DJ Wilson, right? Stuff like that. The Knicks, what they're doing, the Knicks throwing that, try to throw some picks. Or
what they gonna give us, man?
Perhaps
the number 8 pick.
The Bulls. Kobe White. I know they don't want to get rid of Kobe White. Zach LaVine is a guy that had some injury history. Phoenix has been leaked to Fred VanVleet. Ball might not be the worst consolation prize if he's inferior as shooter as defender, but he could check out some of the same boxes Devin Booker. But you're looking at the Suns, looking at Fred VanVleet, throwing a lot of money to pair him with Devin Booker. That'd be fun to see. And then there's also a sensible package. Lonzo's defensive upside makes him a far better fit in Minnesota than his younger brother. Again, this isn't workable packages here. A lot of mismatched package, interesting names. Some stuff fits, a lot of stuff don't fit to me. If you're going to get something, you're going to give up Drew Holiday. And as competitive it is, DC, I'm talking 2 for 1. You're going to have to get a couple of players because he makes $20+ million a season, so you got to match it to a degree. And then, of course, some picks to go along with that because that's the sustainability model the Pelicans have. Now, please feel free to finish your thought and add all that to the conversation. I know that was a mouthful, but see if you can reply to that.
Well, I was talking about your guy, Andy Edwards, man. I mean, there's a possibility he could drop further than expected, but I don't think he makes it past like Atlanta. But if we trade with Atlanta to get the number 6 pick, hey, you might be on to something. You start looking at these teams and what they're looking for, and you could possibly get a guy like Andy Edwards at number 6 if the draft goes left. Let's say Minnesota takes LaMelo Ball at 1, then you're looking at the Warriors taking Wiseman, or the USC center goes at 3 to Charlotte. They're high on him. The Bulls take the guy from Israel because, I mean, what you going to add? Andy Edwards, you got Kobe White there and Zach LaVine. You got Cleveland, who just drafted Garland last year, and you got the other little guy already over there. Do they take Andy Edwards? It's a possibility they could take Obi Toppin. Then you're right there at number 6 with Andy Edwards. Do the Pelicans know this? So you're hearing a lot of stuff about them trading with Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, it went to Boston. Then it was a lot of talks about Boston taking their 3 picks and packaging it to Atlanta for the number 6 pick. And then we working out the money with the a guy like Hayward. I heard crazy stuff even go as far as Kemba Walker would for Drew Holiday and those 3 picks, which would be the number 6 pick. Then you look at a guy like Andy Edwards. And if something like that happens, then what the hell are we doing with Lonzo Ball? As you talked about him possibly being in a trade scenario with Phoenix. So, I mean, there's 1,000 different ways the Pelicans can go with this, man. There's so many different trade scenarios we got going on. But even the one we talked about with the Nets, we were talking about that in the post-game meeting, and you told me you put in a trade finder, and the Nets, they got a lot of money on their books. So that initial trade that we thought would work with the Nets, it won't. We're going to have to get a third team mixed in with that. So I've been hearing a lot of 3-team deals coming up. I seen an interesting trade package with the Celtics that would give us, get this, Marcus Smart and Miles Turner, and we give up Drew Holiday. Boston would get Jeremy Lamb, McDermott, and Drew Holiday, and Indiana would get Gordon Hayward and the 26th and 31st pick. So there's a lot of different things out there, Q. I mean, man, it's almost like the world is our oyster at this point as the Pelicans. So we go in a lot of different directions. But the only one I don't see a lot of answers for is that center position. It is very hard to find a great fit, in my opinion, for the center position. So we might have to continue to home grow that, which I think the Pelicans may be doing, because Stan Van Gundy and Bob Byers is probably the 2 best guys in the whole league to build the center. After you've seen what they did with Dwight Howard and on DeAndre Drummond. And if you notice, when both of those guys left from under that tutelage, they didn't quite look the same.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, DC. They didn't look the same, and that's a part of it, man. It's a lot of different places you can run with this, man, because we'll see exactly what the sustainability model is. But anytime I hear somebody talking about sustainability, that means that's a UN way, an international globalist way of saying that we're trying to save money and we ain't trying to spend no money. We're going to do this efficiently and effectively. And, of course, let's go to our final article of the show. Pelicans parting ways with assistant coach Jamil McMillan. That's right. Well, it hadn't been a good year for the McMillans, man. You know, Pops got fired. His Pops got fired. Nate McMillan fired from the Indiana Pacers, but he did land with the Atlanta Hawks as an assistant coach on Lloyd Pierce's staff, so he found a job relatively quickly, spending 20-plus years in the NBA as a coach in some capacity. Now his son Jamil has an opportunity probably to go up there and join Pops in Atlanta. I mean, it likes to have relationships. As the McMillan, who spent 8 seasons with the organization, will not be a part of Stan Van Gundy's staff during the 2020-21 season. McMillan got his start with the Pelicans in 2013. He joined Monty Williams' staff and worked in player development. He stayed with New Orleans after it hired Elvin Gentry in 2015. A year later, McMillan was elevated to assistant coach. McMillan coached New Orleans' summer league roster in 2017. He left to work in Phoenix. In 2018, he rejoined New Orleans ahead of the 2019-20 season. In August, the Pelicans fired Gentry who following the 30-42 season, New Orleans finished in 13th place in the Western Conference. Despite all the issues that were going on during his time in New Orleans, McMillan developed a reputation for connecting with players. He's the son of Nate McMillan, who had a 12-year career with the Seattle Supersonics before eventually becoming the head coach. Last month, Pelicans brought aboard Bob Baer to work as an assistant under Van Gundy. The two previously worked together in Orlando and Detroit. The rest of Van Gundy's staff will be finalized soon. The NBA draft is November the 8th. Training camps are expected to begin on December the 1st. The season tips off on December the 22nd. So that definitely should happen real soon. But Nate McMillan will not be a part of the transition team with Stan Van Gundy. So just to let the family members know, there'll be some new coaches. Freddie V's there as well. He stayed.
I'm trying to figure out who the hell is going to be part of the team. How much longer are we going to wait till we hire our assistants, man? We should be drawing up game plans for what we're going to do at this point, man. This is getting a little scary. The season starts in roughly a month, and we still don't even have all our staff.
No, you sure don't. Bob Baer, they picked up.
We starting training camp in 2 weeks?
I think this would be remedied more than likely next week. He'll have his staff filled out. We know for a fact now that all the head coaching jobs are taken that Will Weaver.
Who got hired in Oklahoma?
There's one of their assistants on the G League team that were there. They just promoted him to head coach. So I forgot the guy's name, but he was never a coach before. They went the cheap, sustainable route. They got a cheap coach from the G League that has some success in the G League. They're familiar with him, and they're bringing him there, and they promoted him to head coach of the team. That opens up Will Weaver. You still have him there. Fitch is still out there. Chris Fitch is still out there. And, of course, we talked about your defensive coach we brought over from Denver as well. So there's several other coaches that we could talk about that'll be in it. But I'm looking probably a really easy one is Will Weaver, since he won't get the job there. And, of course, I'm thinking Tranger Langdon has to have Will Weaver in the mix some kind of way for this to work, unless he got flim-flammed by the man who speaks with forked tongue.
Nah, I don't think he would flim-flam him that bad. I mean, they went ahead, and he pretty much seems like he did most of the other things that David Griffin would have wanted. Van Gundy is definitely a David Griffin hire to me. We both talked about that.
No doubt about it.
So Will Weaver, it's only right that you hire Will Weaver as assistant and you allow him to be groomed in-house in case Stan Van Gundy don't work out. Or let's say Stan Van Gundy does work out. We win a championship. Stan Van Gundy is 60-something years old. The man is like, okay, I'm done. Now you got your next coach already. So he's got to be worked in some type of way. I don't see why you wouldn't do it. He's had major connections here. Everybody knows how smart he is. Maybe he's not ready to fully run a team, but you definitely want to have this guy as an assistant of the Pelicans, in my opinion. So Trajan Langdon's guy should be in the building at some point. I just don't know what the hell is taking so long. Does he have a better offer somewhere else?
Well, we'll see, DC. And like we said, we got compressed timelines everywhere, so we know this should pop in the next several days, to be honest with you. So by the time we do the Pelican postgame report next Friday, we'll have a complete
you
staff.
sure we're going to make it till Friday, Big Q? You're not going to be calling me to do an emergency show at some point?
We might be. It might be a Wednesday show we're doing an emergency Pelican postgame report because they traded Drew Holiday. So you never know. Yeah. So we'll keep that open. Just keep your schedule open, my friend. We'll get you in there. As always, But we're gonna open up the chat line for the family members to chime in. If you have any questions, concerns, please place them in the chat. We got DJ on the line. We'll bring him in just a second. We'll hit a few topics, a few questions right quick before we bring DJ in. But if you have any questions, concerns, and comments, we are opening up the chat for a few calls for the family members. If you want to get in questions or have your comments or express your vantage point, the link is in the Pel chat. Please hit that, and you'll be able to be on the show like DJ is going to be. So let's hit a few comments in the chat, then we'll go to DJ. Go off. Good to see you in the chat. Go off. He says, Big Q, why are we talking? Why are we talking about any other trade other than the Nets? Let's talk about what the lineup would be least. He says he's talking about the Nets trade than the Nets. The Nets, he likes the trade of the Nets as the best and I felt that way too, because I do like Karis LeVert. I do to a degree like Dinwiddie, And I do like Jared Allen. Now, if you did pull off something like that and got those guys and brung them here, of course you probably gonna need help. We did the contract trade. You know, they have software. You can do this on ESPN where they have the actual contracts. You can see if you could try to trade the combination of players for Drew Holiday. It doesn't match. The contracts don't work, which means you have to get a third team to come in and help the trade, to facilitate the trade. And it does look good if you look at Jared Allen and Karis LeVert, and then, of course, you throw in a pick in there. I just don't know. I think the Nets, they're desperate. They want him bad. I know the Nets want him to be paired with Kyrie Irving and of course, Kevin Durant up there in Brooklyn. And they do have a really good, interesting piece. And I often said that they can offer the Pelicans competing pieces right now, a slashing two-guard in Karis LeVert and a big with experience in at least for 1 year in Jared Allen that can help out. And if you want it, you can have the piece in Spencer Dinwiddie, which, like me and DC talked about, he's not much defensively, but he does operate and he facilitates the ball and can occasionally knock down a 3-point shot for you. So, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets package is interesting. I know there's the Miles Turner package that DC mentioned, and there's several other intrigues. So many different things. Of course, Miami talk about Tyler Hero, although I don't believe that. I don't think they give up Tyler Hero.
They're not giving up Tyler Hero, man. We kill that pipe dream.
Right. So, see, that's what I'm saying. There's so many trades out there around. It's like a lot of the trades that you see with the teams, the Minnesotas, the Trailblazers, and all these other, the New York Knicks, and all these are really, they're weak trades. They're weak. They're very weak trades compared to what Brooklyn can actually give you. Even with Denver, they talking about giving you Gary Harris and Monty Morris and Bol and a pick for Drew Holiday, and I kind of pause on that as well. You got Atlanta in the deal with DC like Cam Reddish in the 6th round in that 6th overall pick. That's something intriguing. So it's different ways to look at this thing. Brian says we have to trade for somebody that works for our system in New Orleans Pelicans. That's true. Thank you for that, Brian. He also says Ball brother is still around to pick with the 13th pick. We're going to take him. That's what I think. Picking 2 balls. You have 2 balls on the same team. How about that? Pause on that shit, right? Okay, so Michael says if Ball won more than $13 million a year,
man, we're gonna have to have a sincere advisory every time we have a game, bro. Yeah, somebody gonna bring that up.
Got to bring pause. We got Ball in the game. Ball just left. All right, Supreme Josh, big ups to you. I think we should keep JJ, and if we don't look good near the trade deadline, then we should trade him. Okay, thank you, Supreme Josh. Thank you for being here, fam. Much love to you. John says, Big Q, will JJ Redick stick around next season, or will he be traded? Very good question. That's and I've heard recently trade chatter about JJ Redick with 1 year left on his contract. A lot of teams want JJ Redick. A lot of teams who have deep playoff aspirations feeling that JJ. I don't know. That's a tough one to me.
I don't think you trade JJ Redick.
That's
if
right.
we do that, we won't have no vets. Like you need a vet at some. What are we gonna keep Etwan more?
No, Etwan's following his daddy to Sacramento. So I mean, we just have to make sure. But no, JJ Redick is interesting, man. But it has to be the right deal that blow their socks off too, DC.
Yeah, but I think JJ Redick stays, and JJ Redick sounds really excited about Stan Van Gundy.
Well,
people
yes,
are forgetting that JJ Redick was a big part in Stan Van Gundy coming here. He had a hand in recruiting him, so I don't think they get rid of JJ Redick after that. And if you watch the bubble games, the way we ended our season, the one player that played like they had the most heart, other than Josh Hart, was JJ Redick.
He did play well. Yeah,
he was out there again, dunking it on them people's heads. He was dropping threes left and right, man. That man was playing like if his play depending on us making the playoffs, he wasn't gonna let it fall on him, bro.
You're right, DC. He does have a relationship with Stan Van Gundy going back to the days when he was in Orlando with Stan Van Gundy. Remember that? When he started off with him. So that's well said.
In my Atlanta trade, everybody, somebody said don't trade with
John
Atlanta.
says don't trade with them. And Shav Entertainment says Marcus Smart and Turner. He likes that. Marcus Smart and Miles Turner.
I like that too. But it's so many moving pieces, man.
Yeah, it is.
You got to hope on and wish and, blow out some birthday candles and make sure you got the candles right. And it's all type of stuff going on. But my thing with Atlanta is I don't think people realize the potential of Cam Reddish and what he is. And if you think I'm kidding, go look at any trades where you're talking about the Pelicans with Atlanta and here with Atlanta people saying that don't trade Cam Reddish. They would be stupid if they give up Cam Reddish. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Cam then already played with Zion. Cam is a really, really good shooter. His point in the NBA, he ain't shown it to this point, I guess. Maybe in the back half of the year. But the dude has the potential to pretty much be anything from 2 all the way to 4. He can play. You know what I'm saying? And he's a guy that can play off the ball. So, and you get him for $3 million. And then on top of that, you get the 6th pick, and you can get somebody else from their team if you look around and see what you want from over there. I ain't see nothing. But you get the 6th pick with that, and you free up all of that money. So that's $23 million that you basically freeing up. Well, $20 million, I guess, after your draft pick or somewhat close to that you freeing up, and you get that draft pick. To me, I don't know. It seems like a potential good deal if you can't find any. The Nets thing don't go through. You can't do the Indiana. You can't do the Boston and Miles
Go
Turner.
run to Atlanta and trade with them for Cam Reddish and the pick.
That seemed like a good deal to me.
DC is really pushing home the Cam Reddish pick. I like Cam Reddish. I remember the kid playing in college.
I like the flexibility.
He is big. He's tall. He's 6'8". He has good defense. He can shoot. He got a all-around game as well. He's intriguing. I just don't understand why he didn't work with Trey Young and what they had there. And it's just he didn't start right away. They benched that kid for a while, and then he had to work his way off the bench, and then he got hurt, so he had some difficulties in that shitty Atlanta system out there. But, it could be interesting, and then you're saying you get him and then a 6th pick, so it's interesting. Let's go to what Shav Entertainment says. He says, we need a vocal leader, everybody on the team quiet. Zoe, Ingram, Drew, Zion, too nice. We need somebody that's going to get in people's face. That's why I love that's why he loves Stan Van Gundy being that person to get in your face. And DC, please chime in on that. I'm going to bring DJ to the show as well. We're going to welcome him in as well while you comment on that comment there.
Because Shive Entertainment is exactly right. That's why I like the Marcus Smart thing too, because you would have a guy that's a focal leader. He's going to bring passion. He's going to bring that presence you need on the court, man. We need a crazy guy, basically. We need some type of enforcer. And it don't necessarily have to be a guy out there punking people. You can enforce people mentally, like what Rondo would do. That's another guy. If we could get him back, which I don't think is going to happen, but that would be nice if we could get him as a backup point guard. But they're right. The team is entirely too quiet. The only caveat in that, I don't know if Zion is too quiet. He's nice, but Zion, he got a little bit of that killer in him, bro. Brandon Ingram got that killer in him too, but he's obviously a silent assassin. But Zion, I really don't know fully what his personality is going to be as far as him being vocal or non-vocal. I think he's a guy that probably can speak up. He's just still growing into himself. But whoever we get back, that would be nice to get a vet. That you'd have to move on from my whole Cam Reddish and 6th pick thing, because they ain't got no vet over there in Atlanta. But it would be nice to get a vet back as well as picks. But what's the perfect situation, man?
But not just any vet. The vet contract got to fit with what you're doing. It can't be a gross Solomon Hill ass contract, and you're getting, with this vet coming back. So I mean, but even though right now that gross $11 million contract that we was paying Solomon Hill is pretty much customary to pay guys like that right now. Boy, if things change since they offered out that.
It was so weird seeing Solomon Hill play in the finals.
Yeah, seeing him.
What the hell am I seeing?
Yeah, seeing him push the broom for him. All right, let's go. We got DJ on to the show. DJ, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the show.
What's up, DJ?
I'm doing pretty good. What's going on?
Doing good, bro. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
I want to give a shout out to Big Q and DC.
Same name, brother.
I know the Pelicans organization is DC on their list as far as assistant coach.
I think they do have
But
a foreign. They got like a foreign exchange program. They can import them straight from Jamaica right onto the team. DJ.
oh yeah, absolutely. But let's get into what I'm gonna have for. Um, this okay. First of all, because I know y'all didn't talk about it, that uniform sucks. Don't get me wrong. I like the Charlotte Hornets City Edition. Like the Charlotte Hornets City Edition look way better than our uniform. So I just wanted to point that out to y'all. Uh, as well as this roster goes, we are undersized. You got Brandon Ingram, he about 6'6". You got Zion about 6'6". You know, possibly it could be 6'6" and a couple of inches. Um, what are we doing with um either our two-way players? Um, what else I want to point out? Uh, y'all already talked about Drew Holiday, so I'm not gonna put that out there. I just gotta see what they're gonna do with next week. Um, so my question is to both of y'all: what what position are we looking for? Like, okay, so we trade Drew Holiday. You get players or whatever the case may be with that. You plug them into our system. So then when the draft get here, what do you go for? I mean, because we still got the 13th pick. Now, granted, if we trade you Holiday, you still got possibly the 13th pick. Next. Uh, now that's a good question. What position are we looking for? Frank Jackson. Uh, I see him, but if Stan Van Gundy trying to go young, I don't know. That'll be a back burner for me. Frank Jackson, that'll be a back burner for me. Each almost gone. You still got like JJ. I'll keep him for veteran talent on the roster. Um, like I don't know. Like what position are we looking for? Because you can't run Zion at the four, and they have four than Zion.
I think we would be looking for the position that benefits us the best, depending on the packages that they have available. The Pelicans are actually looking for the best return on the investment they could get. They obviously want some draft capital with it, so the position I think it matters, but it's more of the total package of everything that they're getting, as well as freeing up cap space. The big deal is to be able to free up or unloosen some of this cap purgatory that we're going to go through once we sign Brandon Ingram. So that's the major thing. Everything else, they're going to fill in around that. So obviously, if they could fill the need of center, because I think that's probably our biggest need right now, our biggest concern. Because even if we didn't have Drew Holiday, we still got Josh Hart. We could put at shooting guard. You could start NAW. They're not going to start Frank Jackson, but he'll be a nice piece still to come off the bench. We got guards. We don't have a backup for Brandon Ingram, so we would have to get a backup for him. So a nice guy to throw in there, maybe a 3-point shooting 3-and-D small forward, center, stuff like that. A replacement for Drew Holiday. I think the pieces are pretty interchangeable for the Pelicans. They're looking at the salary, possibly bringing a vet back with some draft capital. I think draft capital is actually a big deal for them, which is why the Nets deal, you may have some problems with that, as well as making a money match. And all the other deals I hear about outside of the Nets deal is always draft stuff included. So we definitely trying to go younger, and not just younger. We want to be cheaper, air quotes, sustainable future, right, Big Q? So that's the whole premise. The player is pretty much going to be interchangeable. DJ, I don't think they're targeting like any specific position.
So my question is to both of y'all. Well, since we have Brandon Ingram and everybody was like, "Oh, Brandon Ingram is going to be the next KD." My question is to both of y'all: are we trying to look like a young version of Golden State Warriors with with Zion playing the four?
Yeah,
And
I mean, as soon as Zion came out the draft, David Griffin was running around telling everybody he's a hopped up. What was the word he used? He called the man Draymond Green on nitrous or some crazy analogy he kept using with Zion and Draymond Green, and I was like, man, Zion ain't shit like Draymond Green. He way better than that. We're like, what the hell is David Griffin talking about? But he was running around saying that. So that's a big indication right there to let you know. And everybody knows Brandon Ingram has been being compared to Kevin Durant pretty much since he was drafted. Lonzo Ball and LeVar Ball daddy, famous quote was Lonzo Ball is Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical. So it's very obvious that we're trying to be the Warriors in a different way. Drew Holiday, you could say he's Klay Thompson. Obviously, he's not going to put up 58 points in 3 quarters, I think it was. But Drew Holiday is an excellent defender, so you get the point. They're definitely building off of that template, but they went about it a little different. You know, they came up on it through trades, but now you see they're getting all these draft picks, and they want to build that strength in numbers mentality that the Warriors had through picks. So you're right, bro. They are, but you know, it's the Bayou way they're going about it. It ain't the Golden State way.
Yeah, I can agree with that, DC.
all right, so now
I agree about that.
so now after this draft, because 9 out of 10, they're probably going to trade that 60 overall pick or something. I don't know. I got a feeling that they're going to trade that 60 overall pick. And they're going to look at talent as far as the undrafted free agent. So, I mean, just because you got drafted don't mean you be on a team. So we got to look at the undrafted free agency as well.
I don't know, DJ. I gotta disagree with you there, bro. I can't remember in Pelicans history other than instant grits. Anything we got as an undrafted free agent that made any type of impact on our team. It worked for the Saints, but the Pelicans are horrible at that. And I don't remember Stan Van Gundy being good at that either. So I don't think that's about to change no time in the future. Plus, we got too many players, man. I mean, I'm sure we're going to have some guys for depth purposes, but we still got a guy overseas that we don't know what the hell he's going to be. He might be the answer to a lot of questions. And he overseas, so I don't think an undrafted guy stands a chance on this team.
Oh, I said if that's the case, you got who people in the G League. You got Tony Carr. I haven't heard from him in a good
Man,
while.
they didn't cut him loose, man. We don't own nothing to Tony Carr. We don't even want to be associated with that boy no more.
Yeah, Lou Dada, Dilly. I finally got his name right.
Didi Lazard.
So I mean, I don't know.
He was drafted though, DJ, my brother. You know, we got him overseas though.
So I don't know. I have to see what they're gonna do within within this draft, before the draft, in the draft, and now based off my my ideas of what I'm gonna be doing on 2K.
You won a championship with him, bro? With your ideas?
Um, not quite, not quite. I'm hanging in there though.
All right. What you
Hey,
think? What you think, Big Q?
Well, I mean, the like I said, what they're doing. This guy is the meat and potatoes. We have this man, and we're talking about Stan Van Gundy for 4 years. The Pelicans, rightfully so, an expedited time frame, looking to compete. Number one, they want to get to the playoffs in this first year. They have enough. They have enough resources to be able to do that. The second thing is getting to the playoffs. The second year is getting back to the playoffs and incrementally, for the next between now and the next 2 to 3 year time frame. They want this team seriously. They want this team to compete for a championship. You're looking at Zion Williamson, and I know that's kind of fast, but you have to look at it. You had him here. What does he have? What's the remaining 4 years left on his contract? 3 or 4 years left on this deal. I mean, you got to start showing some stuff. I mean, seriously. So next 2 to 3 years, it's deep playoff runs, possible playoffs, championship, getting to the finals, at least being in the finals. Zion Williamson will be seen as the face of the league. I've been saying that for a while, which means you'll start seeing them get those LeBron James calls, those Michael Jordan calls, those superstar calls, because the league is going to protect its asset. So a lot of the referees, we won't have the same New Orleans Saint aggressiveness the referees have in trying to stop the Saints. The NBA will promote Zion Williamson because he'll be the face of the league going forward. So 2 to 3 years championship, in my opinion, in the finals. And that's what this is. That's why you got guys like JJ Redick. They're going to bring in veterans, but they won't bring in overpriced veterans. It'll be veterans with really smart contracts to help the team win. It'll be a good mix, and they have a series of draft capital that they can build toward the future. And like I said, they gave Stan Van Gundy a 4-year window to get this done. It coincides with the young contracts when they extend out Ingram on a 4 or 5 year deal. Zion Williamson will be here within that time frame. So you need to see some real results. Real results is not just good enough just making the playoffs. We're talking about deep playoff runs and in 2 to 3 years competing for a championship, being in the goddamn finals in 2 to 3 years. This is not, and it's different than most teams. Like you go to a team like Washington or Atlanta, and no, it's different here because you have good veterans that's in place. The reason why the Pelicans have been losing because you had a shitty coach on top of it. You had a shitty, undisciplined coach who was a one-sided coach who cared about offense and the hell with defensive principles. And we wasted time with that guy here for years. That's why we lost out on AD. He just stupid moves by the dumbass general manager we had before we got these guys. So what happened, they kind of screwed themselves, in my opinion, when they attached themselves to Gentry. That was a miserable failure because really that year you were supposed to be in the playoffs. There's no reason why you shouldn't have been in the playoffs. No reason whatsoever. And then this year, they was hell-bent. That's why they made the SVG pick to get him here because they know he can get them in the playoffs. They stink defensively. They weren't balanced enough. They weren't consistent enough. Now we got a guy that's teaching those defensive principles. He knows about offense. I'm telling you, 2 to 3 years, this team wants to be in the finals competing for championships. That's the only way you're going to keep Zion Williamson. That's the only way you're going to keep Ingram, those guys satisfied. They have to see something that's good. Not some word playing all this kind of nonsense. So that's why I'm saying 2 to 3 years. A lot of people got to get used to that. Pelicans in the finals. I know we talk about the Saints in the championship and the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff, but the Pelicans are looking for a championship 2 to 3 years. I'm just keeping it real. That's why they got SVG here. That's why the Pelicans have that star power. That's why they have all these picks, and they will be real judicious in how they sign these veterans to help assist with the movement of these young teams. But watch how it goes. So they got the brain power and then we're going to see it in an expedited fashion because everything's going to start happening rapidly. Filling out his staff and picking up pieces. But like I said, a lot of people not ready for that reality, and we do a show called the Pelican Post Game Report. And I say, man, listen, I don't know if to talk about championship with the Pelicans because I know the reality is that we haven't consistently made the playoffs yet. So we have to have that experience at least. But I'm telling you, 2 to 3 years, a lot is the time frame to get this done. The man only has a 4-year contract that coincides with our young players, the core of our young players, the superstars. He got to get it done. That's why he's here. That's why I called it when they signed him, I said it was a desperation move because they bullshitted around with Gentry that year when we should be appeased with at least that experience in the playoffs, and we just got nothing but miserable nothing. This time around, they have to get it right. So 2 or 3 years, deep playoff run, Pelicans. Don't be surprised you see them in the finals coming up in the next 2 to 3 years.
I think you're absolutely right, man. I mean, David Griffin has a propensity to go ahead and sign those savvy veterans, like you said. You watch what he did with that Cleveland team. You seen the Phoenix, Arizona era, the Phoenix Suns era, Phoenix, Arizona. What the hell I'm talking about? But they got to do that. That's the only chance you got to keep Zion here. But I also think you got to keep this core together too. Too much change and instability, I think, could cause him to probably want to move too, because they've been kicking this whole family vibe with him the whole time. So the Pelicans, they're setting themselves up for a great future. All they got to do is fill in the pieces, man. The tough stuff has been done already. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be able to have a sustainable future until we're winning, and then I think they'll be willing to even probably push the brink of the cap and do like the Saints do and be pretty much crunching them numbers right on the brink, man, taking advantage of everything. I mean, you saw how jacked up our money was with Dell Dempsey. We wasn't winning nothing. They would be willing to spend money if they win it. They would be doing like the Golden State Warriors, man, and maxing it all the way out if they win it.
But see, and to add on top of that, DC, well, what you were saying about that the Golden State narrative fits a thing because, listen, you're going to start seeing it. Like I said, a part of this is, and you're right, the hard work has been done. We got the superstar in Zion Williamson. You have an all-star with Zion Williamson. And when they played together in the bubble last year, when he was healthy, the little minimum time that we seen them passing the ball and working off each other, I really like what I seen. But the things, like I said, it's so much so that they were so tainted because the system that we operate in was terribly flawed. It was the wrong type of system. You got a guy that's going to come in and fix a lot of the ills that they were doing, especially on the defensive end, letting guys walk up layups and all that kind of nonsense. That is what he's going to do. They're going to fix that to stop some guns from walking up with walk-up layups. They're going to fix the defense, which is the stalk point of it. And, of course, like you mentioned the Golden State, and you and DJ mentioned the Golden State analogy, DeMarcus Cousins took $1 million, or I think it was less than that, wasn't it? $1 million or so, or less than that, to go and play for Golden State that 1 year. You're going to start seeing players like that doing that when they realize that you're a contender. And like I said, the NBA loves Zion Williamson, and they're looking at the Pelicans as a young, interesting team. And listen, they're going to protect Zion Williamson on the court like they wanted him to be in the playoffs. Dummy couldn't get the team together on the same line to be able to get him there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I still promote the fact that this team the NBA wants to see them in the playoffs. They have the right coach with the right scheme to get them there. And all it takes now is fortifying, getting Zion healthier, and fortifying the bench. Because remember, we talking about point guard, we talking about two guard, we talking about center, but the bench needs stability. We need a solid 5 off the bench that can help fortify the starting 5. And then and I think this guy will fix that. But, like I said, it's going to happen fast, man. It's going to happen fast. Go ahead, DJ.
With all due respect to DeMarcus Cousins, would you allow him back in facility?
I mean, I would.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. If DeMarcus Cousins comes here and says, I'll play for the Pelicans for $1 million or, or something like that, man, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think you give him at least 3.
Well, whatever. If it's anything less than, $4 or $5 million, $3 million is cool. $2 or $3 million don't matter. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I would take DeMarcus Cousins if he's healthy, because imagine what a guy like Stan Van Gundy could do. That could be interesting. So, I mean, there's a lot of things on the table, man, that you can look at here. So I wouldn't have a problem with bringing him back if, I know Stan Van Gundy ain't going to play with him. I know he's going to demand.
he'd have to be about the team, and he definitely gonna have to play some damn defense. Like he ain't gonna go for that no defense DeMarcus Cousins.
There you go.
But I like DeMarcus Cousins, man. I mean, the guy's from Alabama, so I know he's got to have an affinity for one to be closer to home. All the stuff that previously happened with Dell Demps, though, if he's willing to overlook that and come back to us, I think we are willing to overlook his nonsense and the stuff we dealt with him, as far as how he exited, not his time here, other than the Alabama created Mardi Gras thing. I want to smack the hell out of Marcus Cousins. We said that, but other than that, it would be perfectly fine to have him back, and I think he would tremendously help this team if he could give us quality minutes towards the end of the game, because I think that's where we would have problems. Let's say we went with your idea, Big Q, and we had Jaleel Okafor, or we tried the Jackson Hayes thing, mixing them in. You're still realizing that these guys don't have a lot of experience in those pressure end of the game situations. So having a guy like DeMarcus Cousins would be tremendous.
And I hear what you're saying. Javon's he made some. He says, "Man on the court, Cousins would be welcome, but realize he's the reason AD left. He put it in AD head.
Where did he get that from?
He should leave. I don't want that around Zion." I mean, my thing is this. You know, when you had
Put that in AD head.
I don't know about that either, Javon. I didn't hear that, but I will tell you this though, bro, that if you look at what they had then, it wasn't hard to run people off from the Pelicans. They weren't winning consistently. Elvin Gentry was a joke. He had no real leadership capabilities. He had no real discipline to hold on the team, and that's why the team was sloppy and undisciplined. You know, it mirrored him. He was sloppy and undisciplined with his schemes. You know, he'll let people free ball and everything. They'd be playing like they're on the blacktop, running around, freestyling, jacking up 3-pointers, and then all of a sudden you want them to run a shot. What is this? And I remember Mark Jackson talked about, he said, "What are the Pelicans doing? I don't know what they're doing." You know, and you hear Drew Holiday call them out in certain games, so I guess we running, I guess. You think we're a track team. You think we're a track team.
I don't know what the hell Elvin Gentry talking about.
Right, see what I'm saying? and that's what happened when you have that Thunderbird around in your back pocket, sneaking off underneath the bleachers every now and again. I digress. I will stay away from that. But all I'm saying, all I'm saying on top of that, just to hit with Javon Park. No, it's okay. But I'm just saying on top of that is the fact that because they had a reason to leave, they didn't believe in Elvin Gentry. AD didn't believe in Elvin Gentry. You know why? Because Elvin Gentry didn't do a damn thing. He didn't do a damn thing his entire career. He had a few nice couple of years in Phoenix. He came down here and had that 1 year when Rondo basically ran the team on the floor. When Rondo used to wave him off, he'd be when the team firing on all cylinders, Gentry pulling out the hot people to put cold people in there, and Rondo waving them off. I mean, look at this here. We had to put up with all that. So at the end of the day, I'm saying is this different here. Stan Van Gundy is a disciplinarian. Stan Van Gundy is a good communicator. He's a bit overbearing, and he tends to wear you down over time. That's why he doesn't stay very long in certain places. Hopefully he's done that, but it depends on what kind of staff he's building. But listen, everywhere that man went, he had success. Even in college, every professional team, he knows what the hell he's doing. So, you know, if we can have that here, which we can, fix the defense, play within a disciplined system, which they can, have it centered around Zion Williamson, they will put the shooters in place around him. The NBA will fall in line because they love what Zion Williamson is. He's a superstar in the face of the future of the NBA because old man LeBron about to get out the way. And everybody's going to buy on what they're doing. And you're going to see Pelicans will be must-see TV just like Golden State was. I'm telling you. That's what's coming. And then you have all these exciting picks and first-round draft picks the Pelicans have for years. They're not going to spend a lot of money on talent coming outside. They're going to build this team through the draft smartly. And the cold part about it is the hard work is, like DC said, is done. We got the superstar. We got an all-star to work with the superstar and very good pieces around him. We just need to accentuate here and there. And then this team is a playoff team. It was a playoff team last year. It was a playoff team last year, just a dumbass coach with Thunderbird in his back pocket who was sitting on top of it. But this year, we got a guy here, man. The guy's going to take him. And like I said, 2 to 3 years, Pelicans in the finals, you can check for that.
Javon, I don't think you know a lot about DeMarcus Cousins. You got to realize he was in Sacramento. Dude was balling out. He didn't like his coaches. But you do have to remember, he never wanted to leave Sacramento. DeMarcus Cousins was adamant that he
Yeah,
didn't want to
he loved
leave
that dude.
Sacramento.
That dude loved the West Coast, bro.
He wanted to be
Yeah,
there.
he loved the West Coast.
So when he got traded, he embraced it and he went with the whole thing with AD. And I think he was excited once he was here. In my opinion, along with Q, he did his whole breakdown of Alvin Gentry, so I ain't got to go into that. But this one singular move right here is when I knew, oh shit. When we was in free agency, not only were we not able to bring DeMarcus Cousins back, but DeMarcus Cousins was hurt. He's completely tore up. I think AD could have maybe overcame that. When they didn't sign Rondo, I knew it was done because everything Q said about Alvin Gentry and what anybody who really watched the Pelicans and you know a little bit of basketball, you knew that the team was operating at a high level basketball IQ wise because we had that damn point guard Rondo out there. That's how we got there with the Blazers. That's how we beat them, along with Drew Holiday's excellent game and defense and all of that. But Rondo was telling everybody where to be, what to do. He was calling plays, calling substitutions, like Big Q said. And we lost Rondo over what, $2 million? $1 million, some dumbass shit.
$1 million.
Right. After that, and then not only did they lose Rondo, I know a guy like AD had to be wondering, like, oh, damn, we ain't signed Rondo back, ain't Cousins? Shit. Okay, well, what are we about to do? And then they signed Julius Randle, and you heard this quote in the media. Well, I guess I'm playing center. It was over from that point on. So after that happened, you know, the dude pretty much washed his hands with us. He gave you like 7 years. As mad as we were, I really hated the way he went about it. But I wasn't mad that AD wanted to leave. I actually understood. I just hated how he went about it with the whole that's all folks not playing. That whole thing left a bad, you know, taste in everybody's mouth. And it just was very, very like I was not
Okay,
trashy,
DC.
but it was just a horrible way of going about it, man. And then you try to act like you wasn't gonna leave the whole time. Then we see Rich Paul, who like 5 foot, carrying you around, looking like he holding your hand. It just was the whole bad look for the whole organization, man. It was crazy. But
Well,
I don't think DeMarcus Cousins had nothing to do with that. Fine.
DC. Just to piggyback off you. Uh, what about Christian Wood?
Oh, that ship and sell, TJ. that ain't happening, bro. I seen something on TV where they had Christian Wood as the top 3 free agent in this class. They had Christian Wood as a free agent. Get this, above Brandon Ingram. It was AD, Fred VanVleet, Christian Wood, and then Brandon Ingram. So that gives you a little idea of the type of money Christian Wood is probably going to command, as well as Christian Wood ain't no rim protector, man. I mean, he good for scoring. I would have liked us to keep him. I was very upset when we cut him last year because I thought he would have been excellent to mix him in with a lineup with Zion. But that ship and sell, DJ, but that ain't happening.
All right, Big Q, this one go to you. When you gonna make a Pelican song, bro?
I don't know, bro. We're gonna probably have to think that over, bro. I'm not certain on that. I know. I don't know. We supposed to be thinking about making some tweaks to several different shows coming up, but we got some projects we need to finish up with, and probably we'll start looking at that. I think probably down the line of doing that, we'll start putting more of a signature feel to the show. And, you know, start adding stuff like that to it. But I can see probably the Pelican Post Game Report would be the next show to get an upgrade like that. So you could probably look forward to that down the line for us doing that. I don't see an issue with that. I mean, we got talent, you know, in terms of being able to find people that can be able to put together stuff like that. So, you know, we'll look at that down the line.
All right, bro. I'ma still listen to the show because I know you got other callers or other video chats that want to be in the show. I'ma still listen to the show. Y'all keep it up.
Right, DJ.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, DJ, and appreciate you, bro. And we'll see you on the next show, bro. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's DJ chiming in, man. Much love to all of the Pelican family in the building. A little longer in the tooth on this one, man. We representing and holding it down. It's 12:30 right now, and DC, we're gonna finish out, man, on some of the topics that we're talking about a lot of different things, man. If you go into the chat, we can address some of them. Tragic 504's in the chat. What's up, fam? Thank you for joining the Pelican chat. He says, let's get some of these in here, man. Shav Entertainment says we need okay, I read that one already. GM Kev says we don't need any great value players like Swed says slightly above average is good right now. John says height and skill and shooters. I would surround Zion with shooters. Supreme Josh says we definitely be playing for championships next 2 to 3 years. We have so many picks we could use to trade to bring another future All-Star here. That's the thing about the Pelicans is flexibility. If you go back several years back into the Dale Demp eras, that's something you didn't have. He would waste the cap, overspend for free agents because people say, is this guy insane? No. He had a reputation of being somebody that you couldn't trust. And he had to overspend for people or players to be here. Nobody wanted to come down here. And what happened, the reason why he had to overspend is because he stupidly and foolishly gave away all of his draft picks so he could not build through the draft like a smart team would, where he can hold on to his financial capital, his financial resources. So when he traded away stupidly his draft picks, he was forced to then live on the free agency, and that's dumb. That's something that you never supposed to do. You never say, if you got two legs to walk on, why would you then take a sledgehammer to your right leg when you need both of them to walk? Of course, you can still move around, hopping around on your left, but it'd be a lot more difficult, wouldn't it?
I could just buy an expensive electric wheelchair.
But see, that's the thing as well, is that you would need that expensive electric chair. You
I
keep
can
that
move
money
faster,
in your bank.
but I can move faster till the battery run out.
But that's the type of logic we was dealing with before, where you had general managers who didn't know what they were doing. Dale Demps was a guy that would draft somebody, then let the guy go develop somebody somewhere else, and then bring them back here. He did that with Brandon Bass. He did that with Darius Miller. He did that with several different players that the Pelicans would draft and then would release the players and let them go. It was absolutely insane. And then players that you had that wouldn't cost a lot of money, they did not retain them. Guys like Darian Collinson that was here, you could have retained Collinson. He wasn't asking for a lot of money. He could have helped out with the transition years. You had guys like Marcus Thornton and Darian Collison, who were second-round draft picks, who really came here. They just used and abused the guys, and it was stupid. But this time around, the new ownership was able to build the front office like it was supposed to. They got a VP. And before, when Demps was here, he was the VP and a general manager. It was trying to get a job to Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars said it'll take this much money to give me the job. Tom Benson said no and then gave the job to Dale Demps. Because really it was supposed to be Joe Dumars over Dale Demps. I'm telling you, Joe Dumars, if he'd have took the job, he would have fired Dale Demps because he was incompetent. That's how the man was incompetent, man. I'm going to just keep it real with you. After he had opportunities to look at guys, like he actually interviewed Stan Van Gundy's brother for the job before taking Elvin Gentry. He had Thibodeau and all these guys, and then he turns around and hires Elvin Gentry because Gentry's charts and graphs showed how he brought charts and graphs to show him how he can make the offense better. Hey,
bro, stop giving Gentry credit for that. I told you he stole them damn shits from Steve Kerr, bro. Stop that, Q.
The reality, I'm just keeping it real. I'm telling them about the history of how this situation playing out because we know this team. And at the end of the day, it was a lot of dysfunction, a lot of terribleness that happened. Ultimately, with the Chris Paul debacle, with them ended up losing them. But what makes me bright for the Pelicans in the future, because all those hideous things, the fact that you lost Chris Paul and Anthony Davis, you will not lose Zion Williamson the same way. 2 All-Stars, 2 All-Pro, All-Stars, Hall of Fame players that were drafted and raised in the New Orleans basketball market ultimately went elsewhere to have tremendous success with other teams. Anthony Davis just won a championship with the Lakers. That should have been New Orleans. He should still be on here. That's a large part because of the ridiculousness of Dell Demps and other fools that was running at the time. Well, there's a new regime in town. They got a smart coach. They have the talent, and they just need to put it all together. So I'm really inspired, unlike any other time, about what I'm about to see with the Pelicans basketball. And it all feels like and we about to see something special. DC, elaborate on that, if you please.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. It's almost as good as when I reflect back and think, wow, what if Chris Paul would have still been here when we got Anthony Davis? Right. So
could you
I think
imagine that?
We're moving into an era of we might have that. Like, you got to really sit down and think. Brandon Ingram and Zion, or maybe one of those guys don't fully pan out to be as good as AD and Chris Paul, right? But we still got a bunch of draft picks that we can add with them, and we have an organization that's obviously not just gonna do stupid shit. So you have the potential to have a superstar, and the timeline and the potential to bring along another superstar, and they actually stay together. It's never happened in New Orleans Pelicans history, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, that's true, and we're going to see it all and more. In the future, man, the season's starting December the 1st. The draft is on the 18th of this month. Free agency's on the 20th. Camps, I think the camps open up on December the 1st. Season starts on December the 22nd. 72-game season, the Pelicans. It starts, man. It starts. So we'll see y'all later on the Pelican Post-Game Report. Next Friday.
Located in Henderson, Nevada, bulksupplements.com supplies over 400 pure nutritional supplements, ingredients to hundreds of thousands of consumers and manufacturers. All of their products are available from grams to metric tons through their online store at bulksupplements.com. Orders received 4 noon Pacific Standard Time ship the same day. Their FDA-registered CGMP manufactured and distributing facility has a staff over 60 full-time employees that take pride in providing excellent customer service and producing quality products for their customers. The wellness of the community is of the utmost importance to Bulk Supplements. It's dedicated to maintaining all health code and government regulation. Each supplement is tested in their in-house laboratory before distribution, ensuring that all products are safe for consumption. For any additional testing, they utilize reputable and vetted US-based independent labs. Customer service is available 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time through live chat, phone, and email. Bulk Supplements products are produced in an FDA-registered and inspected manufacturing facility. So if you want quality supplements at a quality price, Bulk Supplements is the company for you. Bulk Supplements, clean and pure bulk supplements. Check the link in the description section below for more information. Energy Muse is a leading conscious lifestyle brand offering empowering tools in the form of crystals and crystal jewelry to assist you on your spiritual journey. Their main and sole mission is to empower people and help them tap into their own personal magnificence. Each sacred piece is handmade with love and cleansed, energized, and programmed with intention to create a desired outcome. Healing crystals can help you realign and recalibrate your energy through their powerful vibrations. Healing crystals act as a tool to raise your vibration and create lasting change across all areas of your life. They hold a transformational energy that empowers you on your journey no matter what your goal is. Are you ready to find love, a new career? Do you want to have a fulfilling, meaningful, purposeful life? When you are ready to release what does not serve you or enhance a particular area of your life, call upon the high frequencies of healing crystals to help you live the life of your dream. At Energy Muse, they have a massive supply of crystals, jewelries, energy tools, bath and body products to help you become the best you that you could possibly be. So if you're interested in healing crystals and jewelry, check out Energy Muse. The link is in the description section below. The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confections. A selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence in the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section. That to the Black and Gold family members in the building. Big ups to the family members for supporting the live stream. First and foremost, thank you for all that you've done. I'd like to give a special shout out to all the family members out there that have been responsible for the growth of helping the platform by sharing of the links, as well as many other positive things, shopping at the merch shops. But if you really want to take it to the next level, consider joining our Patreon. Patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, where you can join up and become a monthly contributor. We have several different options to become a Patreon member, from $1 going up. So it depends on your level of commitment, and we really appreciate what you guys are doing as you continue to see the growth and success at the PRO Media Network. If you want to ratchet up your support, please feel free to become a member at the patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, where you will have access to locked content, the TSC Q&A live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Over 20 shows are available right now, and also On Cue with Big Q, where we talk about those real topics and subjects, are also over 10 shows of those are available. You can get access to locked content and plus visual respect on our scrolling banners from YouTube members to our Patreon champions. So please feel free to join now at patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. Thank you very much.